let's go right into the second chapter of my book, How to Start a Business Without Money. And this chapter is about the entirety of the book, what the book is all about, basically. Remember, the first chapter talked about the basic elements of what you need to start a book, to start a business without money, which has to do with your personality. And in that part, we asked the question: can anyone start a business without money? With a resounding yes, anyone can start a business without money. And I went further to talk about the story of how a young man, an architect, was frustrated or found his footing after speaking with me. Then not just that, my own experiences about how I started my own business without money. Then I talked about a few other persons who actually started without money, and the focus was basically on the fact that anyone can actually start a business without money. Not minding your educational background, not minding your status in the society, not minding the connections you have and all of that. So today, or rather this time, I'm going to be talking about chapter 2 of my book, the preoccupation of this book. That's the entirety of the book, what you should be expecting. And first, I want to state clearly that I did not write this book because I want to be known as an author. I didn't also write it because I am overexcited to write in a book. Maybe I just want to scribble something down. No, that's not it. It's also not a quick money-making scheme idea that brought about writing this book. It was a personal experience that actually made me write this book. And anytime I talk about my book and I talk about personal experience, I love to make references to people who have actually solved problems in life based on their personal experiences. And in my first video on this very book, I talked about how Uber, out of pains, was able to solve transportation problems today. And I think a lot of people are keen on that niche. So my experience is basically the reason I wrote this book. What's my experience? The fact that I brought in millions of naira into the marketplace in a bid to start a business, and I failed woefully, lost all the monies, and went back to my room expecting to actually catch up with death, and death refused to come. Then all of a sudden I got jerked and said, let me read. And I found some secrets about how people who have succeeded in life started. Not just that, specifically names of people who started from nothing. And basically what attracted me was the fact that they had just one common thing: selling. One common thing: selling. And you know what? The world needs salespeople. The world needs salespeople. From every point, A to Z, the world needs salespeople. Be it the government, be it entrepreneurs, be it manufacturers, be it even the salespeople also need salespeople. You understand? So basically, that's one thing I found out that most of the successful people have in common. And I decided I'm going to tool that part, and that's why I am here with this book on how to start a business without money today. And it's going to be revealing to you a whole lot if you're going to stay calm and follow me through. So in this same chapter 2, I revealed basically the fact that I do not need you to go and borrow money from anywhere. I do not need you to go and play any gamble or lottery. It's basically helping you to start from the scratch. I would say that the only investment you can make for yourself here is by being able to pick this book. being able to pick the book, and the price is on the screen there. If you are able to pick the book and you can study it step by step, the way I have arranged it, then I can bet that by the time you're done reading this book, or even before you're done reading the book, you would have been having your head boiling, because you're going to discover a whole lot of opportunities around you that you can take advantage of. And in this book, I basically teach you how to think and create things. How to think and create things. That's why I talk about the stories of Uber. I talked about the stories of so many people that you need to know about. And I also emphasize that you should ignore those people who are saying get money to start money, to make money, get money to make money. Ignore them, turn a deaf ear on them, and start on your own. Start with the ideas you're going to learn from this book. And I can bet you this, that by the time you're done reading this book, all the ideas I have reeled out there, real life ideas, you are definitely going to benefit from them. And if you take actions, you will massively benefit from it. Now, the book is about teaching you how to sell both online and offline. And of course, today, online sales are making more monies than offline sales. So most people even depend on online sales, which of course has also been my major leverage for the successes I've had over time. So I will be teaching you how to sell both online and offline in this book. And you can be able to actually create sustainable income. Since I realized from my experiences, since I realized how to start a business without money, I have never really gone broke. That's the truth. I may not have all the billions, I may not have all the millions, but I have never been broke, especially when it has to do with taking care of my immediate family. I have never. And I'm not boasting, I'm only trying to let you know that once you know how to sell both online and offline, you will take it places, because there are 1,000,001 people that are looking for you. And that's the knowledge I want to impact in you. That's the knowledge you're going to get from this book, How to Start a Business Without Money. And once you get it, even your employer who you're working for currently, that's paying you a monthly take-home package, you can decide to resign and tell the employer to pay you so you can help them sell by the time you learn their ideas. Now, I also talked about why I wrote this book, which of course should scare anyone who reads it. And some of the basic reasons I highlighted was the fact that the population of this world is increasing sporadically. It's no longer on an arithmetic basis. It's increasing more, if there is any better word, or to expand geometric progression. I think that's the right thing to use. The population of the world is increasing massively. Over 7-point-something billion as at 2012. Today, obviously, we should be clocking probably a range of 8 or 9 billion, if the correct statistics is out there. 8 or 9 billion population. What that means is you are giving birth, I am giving birth, your friends, my friends, your cousins, my cousins, your sisters, my sisters, your brothers, my brothers. As people are giving birth on a daily basis. And what that means is there's going to be a lot of pressure in the near future on the economy. Even countries will not be able to take care of the population. And most countries are going to have serious economic downtime. And the only people who are going to be able to survive during these periods are those who can take the world by storm. Taking the world by storm, I mean people who can provide services to the needy, people who can provide services to the businessmen, people who can provide services to, just name them. Let's take for instance, Facebook today is providing services to a whole lot of people across the world. Why? Because it's helping people to reach out. It's helping people to sell. So the amount of money that goes into Facebook on a daily basis is a whooping sum. I would say that for me, in the last 1 month, I think I've spent close to 400,000 naira on Facebook, 400,000 thereabout on Facebook, and that's for just one client. I spent close to 400,000 on Facebook just for one client. Facebook owns Instagram and WhatsApp today, and very soon WhatsApp is going to be monetized, so it means more money for Facebook or for Mark Zuckerberg. But what am I trying to say? The population is increasing. If you do not take the needed action to secure your future and that of your children and your grandchildren, then you're on a long term. The next part is, look, don't get angry when people tell you the rich gets richer and the poor gets poorer. Don't get angry about that, but because that's the truth. Those who are rich today get richer because they have knowledge, and they seek knowledge every day because they know the secrets of becoming greater people. They know the secrets of becoming richer people. So they go for it the more. They seek knowledge. But when you are poor, you cannot become rich. You'd rather become poor when you continue to live that same lifestyle you live in. When you continue to do those things you continue to do, or you've been doing while in the poverty stage or state. If you don't find knowledge, you can never get rich. So that's going to keep you in that platform. You continue to remain poor, and it scares me. For many people who are running away from knowledge, you are going to have a lot of difficult times. Do you know that sometimes I just pray that I have the strength to read like 2 books in a day, or 3 books in a day, or be able to watch some speakers, trainers, and I go. Just in December, I registered for 3 good online courses. Why? Because their prices were cheap. So I registered for 3 online courses, and I've not been able to open 2 of those courses. I've not been able to open 2 of those online courses. I wish I had the strength to go through all of those courses in just one week or 1 month, but I know it probably may take me 6 months to be able to round up all of that. But what I'm saying is, I go in for more knowledge every day, every now and then, because I know that that's the only way I can succeed in life. And you need to learn how to explore knowledge, because that's the way you can be able to escape the future disasters that will come. Then I talked about a few things that are actually going to be directly impacting on you, probably positively or negatively, but I know that most of these things I'm going to talking about will be negatively impacting on you. One is the fact that people are going to lose a lot of jobs in the coming years. Why? Because most companies are beginning to use robots. Most companies, organizations are beginning to use softwares to actually run their day-to-day activities. And not just that, a good number of people are beginning to outsource their businesses to others outside. Let's even give a clear instance. In the past, the bank would hire multiple number of people to run business affairs. Today, the bank has started outsourcing their services to software companies, to businesses, or rather entrepreneurs outside who are into selling. Look at what do they call it? Call it today in the banks. They call it the outsourced staff. or whatever. You see, those are the kind of things that are going to be happening in the coming years. And what that means is a lot of you will be losing your jobs. So if you do not secure your job, your future today, and you're relying on that job, I will be saying sorry. Now, the next part is the fact that a lot of countries are going to go into serious economic difficulties because most countries, especially in this part of Africa, are not exploring their potentials. They have so many dead woods up there running affairs. They are not letting the young ones who understand how to run affairs in this very dynamic world to take mantle of leadership. So they continue to run on a millipede distance or millipede level of race. So what will happen is it's going to affect the economy of most countries, and when it does affect the economies of most countries, I bet you, including their policies, it's going to affect you as an individual. Your salary may be trashed, maybe slashed. We hear about the fact that people are agitating for incremented salaries when even their states cannot even survive. Even if you have to withdraw the monies from the politicians, it still will not be able to take care of the civil servants who are working for this country and states. So it's important that you become wise now and begin to plan your future. If you are actually approaching your retirement age, then this is an opportunity for you to begin to plan how to retire, because by the time you're done retiring, your pension will not survive you. So you need to understand that. Then the next part is the fact that I've talked about that, but employment will become a very, very difficult thing to come by because for you to actually get employed, what companies who are going to be paying you will be looking out for will be expertise. It means that you have to be perfect in some areas of discipline before they can actually hire you. For instance, if a company wants to hire me today, they won't hire me to run the job of probably a programmer. They won't, or a web designer. They won't, because I am not good at that. Even though I have a knowledge of how to develop a website, the company will not hire me because I'm not good. I'm not an expert in that. But when it comes to hiring someone who can actually look at their business and be able to say, okay, take this out, put this in, and start talking to the set of people, they probably would approach me and say, Tim, come, let's talk about how you can help us increase our sales, which of course is something I do. That's one of the business I consult for. I consult for organizations for, and I am not just doing for the offline, I'm also doing for the online. And that's why you can always find me on rocketsaleswithyou.com. That's where my business consulting for sales comes to play. And if you're not prepared, I'm sure that's by developing yourself, you're definitely going to have a hard time then. And in terms of inflation, there's going to be a lot of inflation. We are seeing it already. People are really going to be more daft. People are going to be more ignorant of what is happening, and people are going to lose support because people will be struggling to take care of themselves, so they won't have to take care of you. So we're going to have a lot of more lazy people with no drive, which I don't want you to be part of. And the illiteracy level is also going to increase. We've talked about all of that. And now, what is important about this book is that with all those things I've mentioned, with all the fears that I've talked about, you have a way out. What is the way out? I have created 4 major guides or elements that covers how you can start a business without money. And I positioned it as the RCPR model, which has to do with the researching, creating, packaging, and releasing. Now, I did that because for you to be able to start a business without money, you need certain steps to follow. You cannot just go and start selling for anybody. No, it's not done that way. You need to understand the market first, and that's where researching comes to play. So in this book, I take you by the hand, step by step, how to research the market, to know what exactly people need in the market. Not just that, by the time you're done researching what people need in the market, how you can research where the products are, and when you research where the products are, how you can research the products that are profitable. Then when you research products that are profitable, you have to now start looking for people who will buy the products without having to think twice. So that's talking about researching the right buyers. So in this book, I did all the analysis from basically what I've learned in the past few years from my mentors and coaches. So now in selling, there are things we call the pain points as what you need to use when you want to convert sales or when you want to close sales. So basically all those things, I talked about them in this book. And by the time you're done researching, you have to go the next step of creating the product or creating the services. Now at that stage, I help you to understand what elements you need to look at when creating any product or services, and how you can actually create those products and make it ready to be packaged for the market. Then the next stage is the P, which is I've talked about RC, which is research, create. The next stage is the P, which is packaging. Packaging comes with what you send out to the perception of the target audience, what people see you and interpret from what you want to sell to them. So in this book, you need to actually understand how to come up with what your audience needs to feel when they see your product or services. And when they see your products or services and it touches those pain points, you are certain that you'll be successful when you sell. I became successful in my real estate business when I started with the guy I first worked with, and I sat down. At that point in time, I was already studying with one of my first coaches. So I came up with the idea of pain points and all of that, and we were able to take over this business, and in no time we sold like wildfire. And from there, I was able to make money to go and start my own. And that's of course the idea I'm trying to pass across. You need to understand the pain points, then build your product, package it in such a way that without even talking, you should be able to communicate to the people what your product intends to solve for them. And that's how you can win their conscience. Now, in closing, for this particular chapter, never again believe that you need money to start money. I proved it beyond reasonable doubts by all stories are told in this book and by the clarifications I made for based on the questions I've received and attended to, especially as it borders on my own experience. Don't forget, if you're reading this book, it's not anybody's experience, it's Team Abel's experience, and I decided to scribble it into a book, and it's made for you. If you're going to spend whatever amount of money, I'll tell you this, for whatever you want to spend money for, the first thing you should spend money for this year is in developing yourself. It will cost you about 7,000-8,000 naira to acquire this book, but I can tell you that it's worth more than $1 billion. It's worth more than $1 billion. I say this every day. Why? Let me give you one example. In Abuja here today, we have a lot of mechanics that are languishing. They are very knowledgeable. I'm not talking about those ones who are not experienced mechanics. I'm talking about real mechanics that can deliver jobs for your car, and you'll be so happy. They are here. Apart from here, they are in your states, they are in your localities, wherever you're staying in this part of the world, they are there. Now, all these people need is someone who can bring them customers. And your job is simply to put together a platform that registers all the experienced mechanics that you trust and can deliver jobs perfectly well. Then put them on that platform and start talking to people who have cars, who own cars, and tell them, look, this man does it this way. I have taught that in this book, how you can actually attract those people using your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all of that. Attract these people and get them to begin to patronize those mechanics that you have. You can do that in fashion. You can do that in probably writing, jobs, and all of that. Look at what Fiverr is doing today. Look at what Airlines is doing. Look at what what's it called? This Philippine job platform is doing. There's so many out there that are doing wonderfully well. What are they doing? They're simply bringing people, experts together and saying, stay on this floor and let's get you people that can pay. I met with a guy on Fiverr. That was about last year, early part of last year. Sorry, it was 2018. I met with a guy on Fiverr platform 2018, and he told me that he had raked in. Actually, I approached him to help me do something, to help me do a job, and he was charging me too high. Too high in the sense that the value of our currency to the US dollars is way too different, just too high. So he was charging me about $4,000, and I'm like, come on, what are you saying? Just this how many hours job? And he said, look, team, the truth is, between the month of, was it January and January and July or thereabout, he had made over $17 million. $17 million online on that platform. And what does he do? He just sits in his house and people approach him and they say, give us just a draft of how I can make this sell, how I can go viral on this, how I can do this and all of that. And he would just tell them, pay $10,000 if you want 1 hour, pay $4,000 if you want 20 minutes, pay probably $50,000 if you want me to give you a 1 hour show, and then scribble down the points we have discussed and send it across to you. Then I think there's another $100,000 charge also. He has his charges, just some very crazy amounts that scared me. And I called him, I wrote to him and said, please, I am from Nigeria, and the amount you're mentioning is quite too high for us here. Look at, I had to send him the CBN rate as at that day. Do you know that after 1 or 2 begging, the guy just blanked me. So till today, till tomorrow, and even if I say good afternoon, he doesn't even respond or whatever. He just blanked me, and that's what I'm saying. You see, this guy is making money from Fiverr, and if he's making 70 million alone on Fiverr between the month of January and July, it means that Fiverr would have made probably about 10 or 15% from him, depending on the amount. Probably 10-15% of that money from him. So if Fiverr is making that amount of money, what is Fiverr simply doing? Fiverr is just sitting down and saying, I have a platform. Hey, Mr. A, come and stay here. Mr. B, you're a professional photographer, stay here. Mr. C, you're a professional mechanic, stay here. Mr. D, you're a professional toast writer. Stay here. Now, wait, let me go and talk to people for you. And Fiverr goes out and says, hey, team, I have a professional toast writer here. I have a professional mechanic here. I have a professional florist here. They are doing the best. Look at their star rating. It's 5 star, all of them. And look, I recommend this one to you now. If you want him, use this one. And Fiverr serves team with these people. And team says, hey, Malik, hey, Abel, I want you to actually write my toast for a garden show. And Malik says, team, for me to write a show for a garden show, it's gonna take me 1 hour, but I have you right now on the queue as the 50th person. But if you want to jump the line and let me write it for you in the next 1 or 2 days, it means that you're gonna pay $10,000 instead of $5,000. And Tim is like, wow, I just realized that I am going for this garden show tomorrow and I need this very toast by all means. So in that case, can you do $8,000? And the guy says, no, I can't do 8,000. Pay $8,500. And Tim says, oh, I'm not going to pay again. And the moment Tim turns his back, the guy turns his back. Then I come back, Tim comes back and says, okay, 8,500, no problem, go ahead. How soon? And he says, just give me 2 days or just give me 24 hours. And the guy gets it done. At the end of the day, he delivers to me. And I'm going to look at it and say, great write-up. Because these guys are actually experienced. Though there are inexperienced ones there, which of course I have also fallen victim of. There was a time I was actually having problem with my Facebook marketing, and I thought I wasn't doing something well, so I needed someone who is an expert because I needed to make sales. And again, I had other things on my table, so I needed to just free myself as well. So I turned and met this guy who said he knows how to market on Facebook. So I gave him the job of marketing on Facebook. Behold, the guy couldn't proceed. He went ahead to create another page and added me, which was just nonsense. But when I found out, I just told him, no, that man, take this money and go. Just take the money and go. Don't worry, I don't need your services anymore. And we shut down. Not just that, there was another guy. When I was writing my book, How to Start a Business Without Money, I wanted a proofreader, and I gave it to this guy on one of the platforms. And basically, all I wrote, he couldn't even see an error. He couldn't see anything wrong with it. And he came back and said, great, he kept hailing me and all of that. And I said, no, I don't. If I can't have someone who can criticize what I'm writing, then I'm writing doomsday. So I had to shut down that deal with him, but I ended up sharing the amount. I had prepaid the platform, so we shared it and I released it for him. Then before I met another professor who did the proofreading and our team before we finally released the book. So basically, a lot of experts are out there that are going to take the jobs off your hands if you do not develop yourself now and get yourself prepared for that day. Then you're going to be losing. I hope this sinks. So before I go on this particular chapter, I have talked about the 4 basic things that you need to learn to be able to start a business without money, and that includes research, create, package, and release. And in this book, I have talked about it and I've taught it extensively. Then I also revealed how online and offline marketing can help boost your sales. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so very much for watching. I'll see you another time. Bye for now. But sorry, before I go, subscribe. And you know what? Like my page so you can turn on the notification buttons such that whenever I post in these platforms, you can easily just see and take advantage of what I've taught. Thank you so very much. If you're interested, just go to the link below and you can see how to place an order for your book. I can bet it will change your life. Bye for now.